Happy Sunday, everybody. It's Brandon. I'm back because we are now officially 48 hours from Tuesday night's 2026 NBA draft at the Barclays Center. The Giannis news has been continuing to just shake up the back rooms, but today I'm going to be focusing entirely on the court, breaking down the big three of this draft class: Dybantsa's historic scoring freshman year at BYU, Darryn Peterson's elite two-way backcourt upside out of Kansas, and the consensus National Player of the Year, Duke's Cameron Boozer. Plus, I'll be looking at the deeper sleeper guards in the back half of the first round that could completely steal this year's draft. We're going to be jumping right into this. Like I said, we're officially inside the final 48-hour countdown to Tuesday night's NBA draft. And let me tell you, the vibes are pretty freaking great right now. Over the last two episodes, we've talked about how the Giannis trade talks have completely hijacked the phone lines around the league, but today I want to block out the trade noise. Let's focus on the actual guys who are about to walk across that stage and change the trajectory of some franchises. This year's draft class has been hyped for years as one of the deepest, most star-studded groups we've seen in a decade. You got an absolute elite big three at the top of the board, some real debate about who should go number one overall, and a ton of late first-round value. So tonight, let's dig into the film and let's talk about some prospects. First one is the first two heavyweights. We got Dybantsa versus Peterson. If you're the Washington Wizards holding that number one pick on Tuesday night, you are basically choosing between two distinct flavors of offensive superstars. First, you have Dybantsa out of BYU. What he did as a freshman in the Big 12 was completely ridiculous. I mean, we're talking about 25.5 points a game. Only a handful of freshmen in college basketball history have ever put up numbers like that. And I'm talking about names like KD and Carmelo. Dybantsa is a modern prototype 6'9" jumbo wing with a massive wingspan and an effortless mid-range pull-up. His three-point shot definitely needs some help. Not saying he's terrible, but he's not as consistent as you would like him to be. His ceiling is a multi-time NBA scoring champion. He's athletic, he's fluid, and he just creates shots that defenders literally cannot contest. But do not sleep on Darryn Peterson out of Kansas right now, which, if you haven't listened to my last two episodes, there has been some news on Darryn Peterson, who he only chose a workout with the Wizards, nobody else. So I'm really starting to think that the Wizards are going to go with Darryn Peterson, which means Dybantsa staying in Utah. He'll be going to the Jazz at number 2. Because Peterson was actually ranked ahead of Dybantsa by some recruiting services coming out of high school. He had an up and down freshman year. Him choosing to sit out, his injuries, who knows exactly what was going on. But when this kid is healthy, he is arguably the most lethal on-ball two-way creator in the entire class. He averages over 20 points a game, handles like a point guard, but possesses the length and strength to lock down 3 positions on defense. If a team values a dynamic, high IQ backcourt anchor over a pure scoring wing, Peterson is right there for the taking. And yes, it's Washington. They've had a plethora of first-round top picks, top 2 picks, and it has never gone anywhere. But the fact that Trae Young is now declining his option to return to the Wizards, that makes me think they're going to move on from him. They might even just trade him somewhere and then just draft Peterson to hopefully maybe we can see the Wizards actually not be ass. I mean, just they've been god-awful. But, on top of Dybantsa and Peterson, you have a guy who might actually be the safest, most accomplished player in the entire draft. And I'm talking about Cam Boozer out of Duke. Look, we all know the bloodlines. His dad, Carlos Boozer, was an absolute beast in the league, but Cameron is an entirely different animal. He didn't just live up to the hype at Duke. He completely shattered it. He averaged 22.5 points, over 10 rebounds, and 4 assists while shooting 55% from the floor and nearly 40% from 3. He walked away with the consensus Naismith National Player of the Year award as a freshman. And when you watch his film, his basketball maturity is what jumps off the screen. At 6'9", he's an advanced playmaker out of the short roll. He anchors a defense, and his footwork inside is so polished, it looks like he's already played 5 years in the league. Some scouts actually have Boozer in a tier by himself at number 1 because his floor is so incredibly high. Even if he never becomes a top 5 player in the NBA, his worst case scenario is a 15-year, highly efficient all-star power forward. He is as close to a can't-miss prospect as it gets. So those top 3 guys are pretty much shoe-ins. I mean, their ceilings could honestly just keep going. Their floor is, 15 to 20-year careers if they stay healthy, if they can stay dedicated to the grind and keep working. Those 3 players you're going to be hearing about for a long, long time. But, while everyone is staring at the top of the draft, when, the real fun on Tuesday night starts in the back half of the first round, because this guard class is incredibly deep. There are 3 names that I did some research on that I want you to circle on your draft boards right now. First is Caleb Wilson out of UNC, a hyper-versatile forward who disrupts everything on defense and can run the break. But looking at the guard aspect of the second half of the first round, you have Abuka Okori out of Stanford and Christian Anderson out of Texas Tech. Both of these guys are elite shot makers who are projected to go anywhere from 15 to 30. And yes, I'm going to be throwing in an Iowa player in there, so keep an eye out on Bennett Sturts. He's the ultimate analytical darling of this cycle. He does all the little things that don't necessarily explode on a highlight reel, making the extra pass, executing weak side rotations, manipulating pick and rolls, but he impacts winning at a massive level. A contending team picking late on Tuesday night is going to grab one of these guards, and we're going to look back in 2 years wondering how they fell out of the lottery. Tuesday night is going to be a franchise-altering evening for a lot of fan bases. Whether your team is hunting a superstar wing like Dybantsa, a 2-way guard like Peterson, or just trading up for a powerhouse like Boozer, the margins between winning and losing this draft are razor thin. But hey, let me know what you guys think. I want to know what your board looks like on Tuesday. If you have the number 1 pick, who are you taking in? Are you going to bring in Dybantsa? Are you going to bring in Peterson? Or are you going to shock the world and bring in Boozer? I highly doubt Boozer goes number 1. But hey, drop your mock top 3 in the comments on this episode. I'm really looking forward to see what you guys have to say about who your top 3 is and in what order. And if you have any sneaky picks no one's talking about. The other guard I will say is Darius Acuff. He's really not going to fall in the late first round. I would not be shocked if he gets picked in the top 5. He is an absolute stud out of Arkansas. I keep saying this. It's like a mixture of Allen Iverson and Tyrese Maxey. He's got speed. He's got quickness. He can shoot. He can facilitate. He's an overall playmaker, and he can play solid defense. If he can get that defense up to a Tony Allen level, my goodness, Darius Acuff will be the next big name we talk about for years to come. But I appreciate you guys for stopping and listening in on this Sunday. It is just a gloomy day where I'm at. Just rain, light rain. Oh, it's just doesn't feel like summer. And happy summer solstice to everybody. Enjoy it as much as you can. The days start to get shorter, but that means we're getting closer to football. But hey, hit that subscribe button on Spotify and YouTube. I'll be dropping, some clips on our TikTok and Instagram pages and on YouTube talking about some of these players or highlighting some of these names that I've talked about today. But yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekends and have a great start to your week. Remember, Mondays aren't as bad as they always are. You just got to, take the good with the bad. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Stay locked into the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.